Hold on.
Yeah, let's talk about the video.
What video are we talking about? In case
Vegas
people
video.
don't know. Yeah.
The Vegas video where there's something, and dude, you guys can watch it if you want.
We'll put it into this.
Oh yeah, good idea. The long, you should put the long one in though.
I'll put the whole thing.
Yeah, or even both of them.
Investigators obtaining video as officers then responded to the call you just heard. You'll see the officers also saw something in the sky that night, but the big question is, what was it, and is it all connected?
Leave her alone.
It's almost midnight on May 1st when a Las Vegas Metro Police officer's body cam catches this, something flashing low in the sky.
911 emergency.
Minutes later,
There's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and it's looking at us, and it's still there.
someone calls 911 reporting two large figures in their backyard.
No, I'm so nervous right now.
The 8 News Now investigators obtaining another officer's video as he's sent to the Northwest Valley home.
I have butterflies, bro. Everyone saw a shooting star, then these people say there's aliens in their backyard.
By now, it's more than an hour after that bright light. Officers meeting up with the caller and his family.
What'd you see?
It was like a big creature.
A big creature?
Yeah, like around 10 feet tall.
I'm not going to BS you guys. One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious. Did you see anything land in your backyard, or?
They see like a big, that's what they say.
Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. This is my first video. I'm here to tell you what happened to me on May 1st, 2023. I'm trying to explain the best of my abilities. This is not a conspiracy theory. I'm not making this story out for clout or fame. I just want to tell you what happened to me and my family. And I know some people are not gonna believe this, but each person is different. So this is what happened to me. Keep in mind, this is midnight and I'm fixing a truck in my backyard. At this point, I'm only with my brother and I hear something fall from the sky. I turn around, the only thing I see is a big light falling from the sky, and moments after, I feel a big impact and a bang, sort of like a big impact fall. And me and my brother looked at each other and we were scared, but when the impact happened, it was sort of like a shock wave, like an out-of-body experience. So to say, when I tried to look at the object, it was all blurry, not my vision, but only the backyard area. And I hear thousands of footsteps around me, and maybe a couple seconds later, the blurriness was gone. And here's the footage of the body, the police officer's body cam, and here's the object I'm referring to, the light. Video. Here's a Ring camera video. You can hear the bang. This is around the neighborhood. So here's the video. So when that happened, the only thing I can see in the backyard is a tall creature, probably around 8-10 feet tall, very thin. So I called my dad. He went to the backyard and he saw the same thing, the same creature I saw. He told me to go inside the house. At this point, we all freaking out, me and my family. And here's the video where we were in the backyard area. You cannot see it too good, but on camera, but it's there. Here's the video.
¡Ay! ¡Permisor! Calmundarela, me canceles var eso. Cáelo, cherro, que chitica. Cáelo, cherro.
Moments after the video, me and my brother went to go pick up my tools. Then my brother calls me, and he told me shakingly, look behind the forklift. So I look. Keep in mind, I'm facing the forklift, and then I see the alien creature. So when I saw it, it was a tall, skinny, lengthy creature. He was a gray, greenish color, and when I looked at it in the eyes, my body just froze. Like the same experience as having sleep paralysis. Keep in mind, I'm staring at him and I look at his whole body, and he has a weird looking feet and a big face and eyes, and you can see a big mouth. And I could hear his loud, deep breathing, and I could see his stomach moving. He would just stare at me. Seconds later, I could start moving again. And I start running towards the house. That's when I call 911, and here's the 911 call.
There's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and it's looking at us, and it's still there.
Okay, where is this on your property?
In my backyard. I swear to God, this is not a joke. This is actually, we're terrified of it.
So there's two people or two subjects that are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large. They're like 8 foot, 9 feet, 10 foot. I don't know. They look like aliens to us. Big eyes. They have big eyes, like I can't explain it, and big mouth. They're shiny eyes, and they're not human. They're 100% they're not human.
Okay.
I'm waiting for the police to come, and you could hear footsteps in the backyard area, and a loud whispering, like you could hear whisperings. We were in the living room area, and you could hear footsteps on the roof. So we waited a little bit for the police. When they arrived, they told me I told them what I saw, and they were kind of freaked out. Here's the body cam of the officer.
Now, it's more than an hour after that bright light. Officers meeting up with the caller and his family.
What'd you see?
It was like a big creature.
A big creature?
Yeah, like around 10 feet tall.
I'm not going to BS you guys. One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious. Did you see anything land in your backyard, or?
They see like a big, that's what they say. They see like a big something with light.
What I saw right now, I do believe in it.
Police walk into the backyard to investigate, but Metro...
So they went in the backyard, and one of the officers pointed at the floor, and it was a perfect circle. Here's a photo of the circle I'm referring to. Keep in mind, 2 officers came in my house, and one of them started running to his car, driving around the neighborhood, asking passing cars if they saw light.
What's clear, they're taking this call seriously.
Hey, this might sound like a really dumb question, but did you guys see anything fall out of the sky?
Asking others what they saw.
I would normally discount it as nothing. However, seeing as one of my partners said they saw it too, only reason I'm actually investigating it further.
Goosebumps and freaking out. He started investigating that he told me his partner, she saw a light falling from the sky. He told me he believes me because her partner reported that she saw the same light as me. Now we're walking the front yard. Then the other officer came here. Here's a video of him talking to my family.
If those 9-foot beings come back, don't call us, all right? Deal with it yourself. I ain't dealing with that.
So,
moments before they left, one of the officers told me, if I see the thing again, to don't call him, just shoot him. And you can hear in the video. Here's the video.
If those 9-foot beings come back, don't call us, all right? Deal with it yourself. I ain't dealing with that.
So they left, and we went inside the house, and we started praying. As we're praying, you can hear a loud human-like scream in the backyard. This is what happened to me on May 1st, 2023. I hope you guys kind of understand what happened to me. I know it's hard to believe, but I saw what I saw, and it's kind of going viral. That's why I'm here to explain the story. I did an interview with journalist Doc Papa. I'm going to put his video in the description. I'm going to make a part 2 of the stuff that happened after May 1st. And thank you for watching the video.
This is a very slowed down screen recording I took. And I know everybody is trying to find the aliens in front of these guys, but I noticed something insane. And I want everybody, my 2 friends who will watch this, to take a look down, pay attention to 2 areas. We're going to look down here on the bottom right behind their fence and right up there. But we're going to first start down here because I found something crazy. Okay, so I want you to pay attention to what I believe is the creepiest part of this video. And I'm going to point out 2 things you need to pay attention to right here, which is the head. And if you look really close, there's actually a shiny black eye. And what you will see in about a minute is a hand. That, I believe, is some creature, non-human, crouching down. And that was its eye I just pointed at. And I want you to pay attention to what appear to be fingers running up the fence, as if it's kneeling down or something and peering out. And then there you go, see the fingers. and I think I go back and forth a couple times here, but it looks to me like there's a little other or a big creature looking through the fence on the bottom there, crouched down. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but you tell me. And then there's his fingers going right up and down, up and down. Just looks like almost a human hand crawling up the fence. And at the very beginning, you see an eye. And I think right here, I show you the fingers. This is my really poor attempt at drawing over the fingers, but you get it. So what's really interesting about this is it is happening next to them and kind of in front of them, but behind a fence. Yeah, the fingers are really crazy. So I think I'm going to show it one more time, and then I zoom out and I'll show you what even made me realize this was here. So, okay, so see how many different times I was looking. So what I noticed was if you look at the top right, look at the top right now, there's actually a shadow figure. It almost looks like it's a dense, shadowy figure comes into frame. If you're looking right, at the 3 fence posts, if you're looking at the top right of them, you're actually going to see something that looks like a shadow figure that has density, and it's only there for about a minute. And when it walks in the frame, I think I'm just going to highlight it right here. I was doing the best I could on my phone. I noticed there was movement below it, so I don't know if maybe whatever creature was projecting a shadow up above it or something. But see, there's the eye and the hands, but it also looks like there's another aspect to it, which is that shadow that you can clearly see walking. I know everybody's looking for the alien in front of them, but there's one hiding next to them.
Because the one I saw, at first this morning was just with the cops, or it was like the news, right? It was on the news, which to me made it way more legit. And then, like, if I would have saw the one that you sent me with the kid, the young kid just saying what he said,
right,
I would have been more skeptical. But when I saw the one this morning with the news and they were, and the cops and stuff, I was like, whoa, okay, this really happened. But here's my question. Okay, well, let's set it up, right, really quick. Something fell out of the sky. They have it on and you can see the light and that falls. It's not like a shooting star. It's not, and it's like I don't know what the color is because it's, it could be blue or green or what, but there was a big light that came down. There was a big crash, right? The cops saw it. People saw it. They have it on the police cam, body cam. And then supposedly in this people's house, there was something landed there, and that there was these 2 beings that were like 8 to 10 feet tall. He describes them, and this is what I want to talk to you about because you're gonna laugh at this. Tall, slender, grayish green, whitish, kind of like with big eyes, big mouths, right? They said, and they were kind of like behind a tractor or something, behind some kind of machinery thing. Yeah. And then the young guy, or the people that are out there had like paralysis. Like when they were looking at them, they wouldn't be able to move. But they don't talk about them leaving. So he said that he went like into his house or something afterwards, like when he could move again. Yeah. To like get his dad or something. I could be wrong, but so my questions are this. So this happened in early May or May 1st, right? Maybe, in Vegas, 2023. So a month ago. My questions are though right away are like, okay, how come they didn't film what they saw in the backyard? Okay. I know the cops said that they couldn't do it or that they did film, but they blacked it out because it was private property. Okay, that's
okay.
That makes me like, I'm like, yeah,
okay.
Like they've never done that before, right? Like, how about
that's what I'm saying.
Like helicopter cameras when they're going, like there's police chases.
Exactly,
they're going in people's backyard all the time.
Have you ever watched the show Cops?
Right. That's such bullshit, man. Yeah. So okay, that's one thing. The second thing is, how come the family didn't pull out their phones and record something? Right? He's on the phone calling the cops, but they're not recording anything this whole time. Okay. And there's no mention of how they left. There's no mention of like they got back in their space thing, or did they? Where did they go? Did they just disappear? Say something. They didn't say anything about them leaving. So I could understand them not seeing them arriving. Like they went outside, they're like, "Oh shit!" And then they see like these things, But how about them leaving? And that's my problem with this whole thing. There's 3 things that like threw me off. It's like, well, they didn't discuss this, and no one asked them.
Yeah,
I would have asked right away.
I had the same ideas at first too. Okay, and again, we just started this off by saying, if it's in the news, I don't trust it. You know what I mean? But the thing is, the body cam footage from the police officer, the cop is engaged in some other call. It looks like a domestic dispute or something's going on way down across town. And he's talking to this guy involved in this dispute. And then just overhead, flat, like shooting by is this ball of light. And all of them are like, whoa, what the heck is that? You know? So this is across freaking town. And then within, I don't know how long of that body cam footage, within, I want to say like 15 minutes or 20 minutes, I forgot what they said, there is a 911 call saying, hey, something crashed in our backyard. And there's these 2 tall creatures or beings or something in our backyard. This isn't a joke. I'm not making this up. They got big eyes. They got weird feet. They're 8, 9, 10 feet tall. You know what I mean? So it's within a short amount of time from that cop's body cam that saw that thing fall. You know what I mean? So the timing's really, if they're making it up or faking the part where the kid's talking about what he's seeing in his backyard, well, that would be really interesting timing because this cop's video shows it. Like 15 minutes before.
Yeah, that's a good point,
I mean?
man. That's a great point. Ben.
So how would that kid have known? Unless the only way this could be faked was if the cops are in on it, their body cam footage is fake, then they get some kid and family to call in and say, hey, there's this thing. Then they have body cam footage when they're there. You know what I mean? So it'd be a really big like conspiracy involving a ton of people and departments and footage and this and that. If the body cam footage is real, but the kid's making it up, right? The kid would have had to have seen the same shooting star or whatever it was, orb in the sky, and then been like, dude, I'm going to pull off this freaking scam.
Yeah.
Make all this stuff up, call 911, the police are going to come out, there's going to be an investigation, you know, because likely more people saw that thing. So if you're going to then attribute this story to it, people are probably going to look into it. Yeah. So, and all that within like 15 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever the time difference was between the shooting thing and him calling 911.
It's a great point.
You know what I mean? So then I thought the same thing. Where are they? When they said the cops came within an hour.
Yeah, within an hour.
To the house within an hour.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which is kind of a long time, to be honest.
That's a long time.
So it doesn't seem like they took it very seriously. You could even tell the 911 dispatch chick.
Yeah, the
when he's like,
was
this isn't a joke.
She's like, okay.
She's like, okay,
Right,
well, and then the video cuts out a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like they took it very seriously. So an hour is a long ass time. Like, if something
especially it was like it was at midnight too. I think he said it was like midnight when he was like working on the truck or something.
Yeah.
And then all this stuff went down then. So like you would think the cops at midnight they could be more responsive at that time, right?
Yeah, unless they are not taking it seriously. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And in that hour, like the kid also said that what they did videotape, and this is a thing I hear often, like, oh, why don't people grab their phones and record it?
Yeah.
Okay, I've listened to some of these encounters where things appear or they see beings or something like that. I've listened to a few of these because, you know, it's interesting now. Everybody says the same thing. You're not thinking logically rational. You and I are analyzing from our living rooms and from my office, and we're like, dude, why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? Why didn't they record? Why didn't they, you know? These kids, listen, this kid said, we heard a big explosion.
Yeah.
We didn't know what was going on. We ran to go look at what's happening, and there's these creatures staring at us, and we're paralyzed. So the first thing is they didn't hear the explosion, pull out their phones, running, thinking what's going on. You know what I mean? They ran to go see where that noise came from, and then these things are there, right? They're paralyzed, they're frozen. At one point, they could like start moving again. So they run back inside to grab their dad.
Yeah.
They're also kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They run inside to grab their dad. And then one of them started videotaping when the parents were going to look back there, but the kid was in the back recording from the back. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So all you see is the dad.
That's right.
All you see is the dad looking through the gate. You know, but then they freak out, and I think they all went back inside.
And it could be because they're just scared, right? Like they're like, "Shit, dude, this is crazy. Like, what can they do to us?" You know, and if they, that could be it too. I do want to know like where they go. Like, so okay, here's a question.
That's what he said. He said they went inside, called the police, blah blah blah.
They were gone.
That's when they started hearing like footsteps
on the roof. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Okay, that's when they started hearing whispering all around them, like a lot of whispering.
Okay,
you know?
So question then.
So it sounds like they didn't go back outside after they called the police.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so here's a question. So, with these demonic beings, whatever they are, I mean, you call them whatever. I mean, I don't know, alien, demonic. For sure, they're demonic in some kind of body form, right? In some kind of. Okay, so could they make mistakes like that? Are they going to like crash something? Like, you know, are they like, oh shit, like, you know, oh my gosh, we messed up, like, you know, like, I don't know, like, is that realm, is it like, do they like make mistakes? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I'll tell you a mistake they made. They crucified the Son of God. Do you remember that? Hold on. Do you remember the verse that says, had the powers known, dang it, I wish I had that freaking gift to recall verses on command. I'll summarize it though, Senor Gist. Okay, had the powers that be known what God was doing, they would have never crucified the Son of God. Because it's through that crucifixion and through his death, that he was victorious.
Right.
So had the demons and had Satan known what God was actually doing through Jesus, they would have been like, oh, Pharisees, Rome, don't freaking touch this guy. You know what I mean? They would have not crucified the Son of God. So I think we give a lot of credit to the demonic. That's not always necessarily warranted. You know what I mean?
No, it's actually a legitimate question because I don't know. I'm not saying that, you know, they're always perfect, whatever, but I think you're right. We do that. But, you know, I guess, because even like when you're praying and stuff and when I guess these people with like the deliverance ministry and all that stuff, like they're really into that stuff. Like they like the way they talk to, if you rewatch some of these videos, like, I'm so like on the fence with some of this stuff, but like,
it doesn't mean it's not true, you know, but guess what? They're not. Okay, demons aren't all-knowing. They're not omniscient. Only God knows all. They're not omnipresent. Okay, it's not like every human on the planet has a demon on one shoulder and an angel on another. That's not true. They're not all-powerful. You know, they abide by certain laws. Right. It's clear.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's the thing. I don't know.
Can they like crash a spacecraft, like, you know, like, and then be like hide behind like a tractor or whatever, like a machine, and then like be like, you know, like, see, that's where I'm just like, well, I mean,
pop out there,
like, oh shit, like, do they say, oh shit, like they saw us, you know, like, what do they, because if shit's a curse word, you know, are they saying like, oh shit, you know, do they saw us, oh my gosh, like, let's get out of here, you know.
Dude, I'm freaking trying to use the soundboard and it's not working.
Profanity.
Oh, there it goes.
Watch your profanity.
Draco.
Right. But like, that's my thing. Like, are they, I don't know, man.
Okay. So real quick, just in case people are wondering why the heck we keep talking about demons and all this stuff, is because as Christians, we think this whole we think this whole, we think this whole alien narrative is just modern language describing like ancient truths about demons, aliens, the supernatural realm, all that. That's what I think people are seeing today and describing as aliens and UFOs and all that crap.
I don't
that's why
believe
we
that
keep
they're
talking to
coming
them
from
as demons.
Yeah, they're not coming from a different planet. light years away. It's a demonic being that, that's in a different kind of body, right? Than a human body. Okay. Is there anything else you want to talk about that video? Because it still has to do with the video, but is there anything else you want to explain about that video, or you have another comment on that before I tell you something that it's going to be kind of weird?
I will tell you a weird little tidbit about the video that I picked up on. The kid, when he's describing it, describing the creatures, he said they were really tall and skinny. Okay.
Perfect segue of what I want to talk about.
And had weird feet. Okay?
I didn't hear the feet part.
Yeah. I caught it. Okay. It's just in passing, like real quick.
Keep in mind, I'm staring at him and I look at his whole body and he has a weird looking feet and a big face and eyes, and you can see a big mouth.
He said it had weird feet. I also watched this other video by this like doctor chick that studies like phenomenon like this, UFOs and aliens and stuff, in like ancient Christianity and in the Catholic Church and stuff like that. I sent you the video too. It's like 2.5 hours. It's really good though. And guess what?
You sent me the video. I gotta watch it.
I think I sent it to you and Cam.
Oh, okay.
Really good, really interesting. One of the telltale signs of it being a demonic encounter, okay, throughout millennia, like over the past 1,000+ years, in the Catholic Church especially, was that when things would appear to people, nuns, monks, priests, whatever,
right.
These beings would often have hooved feet.
No way.
Okay. And it would smell like sulfur.
Huh.
Okay. So when this guy said it had weird feet, that's the first thing I thought about is, oh my God, I wonder if that's what I thought about is, I wonder if it was a hooved foot or something that looked like a hooved foot.
Yeah.
You know?
Isn't necessarily talking about the ancient aspect of it or the religious side of it. They're talking about it as it's just technology or like quote unquote aliens possibly.
Yeah. So I think this is interesting. I think that the one thing that shifts this, makes it different from the Christianity example, I would say that UFOs right now are having a Christianity moment where there's, the institutionalization going on. But the one thing that's different is that whereas the other was the focus on we have the divinity, or we, the Catholic Church is the one who has the access to the divinity. It's an interesting shift in that this divinity is secularized.
Can you define secular?
Oh yeah, secular is not religious.
Okay.
There's no religion here. But that completely goes against what I'm looking at. So I'm happy to call it secular if that's what I found. Like I said, I don't care. I'm not here promoting, the existence of this or that. Mm-hmm. I'm just doing my job, which is basically to see what I see and then make conclusions based on what I know and the data. And so what I find is that the very people who are most immersed in the study of even the quote unquote technology are having experiences that I would call religious-like experiences. And these are changing them and shifting them. They live really almost like monastic or ascetic lives. So to not include that as data is probably, let's just put it this way. I think it's interesting. I'm including it because that's what I see. So I think that the public-facing aspect of it, not including that data, I think that there are probably reasons for that. One of which is they probably just aren't trained. They don't know. They miss it. Video of his, moment of contact.
Moment of contact, yeah.
Yeah.
It's Varginha, Brazil. There was a crash landing, and apparently there was a being that was running around a town for a couple of days that was captured by the military. Or two beings, rather.
Yeah. So this was fascinating to watch, mostly because to me what was interesting, he's bringing he's bringing the framework of what I would call the secular idea of the UFO as extraterrestrial, crash lands, and then the government covers it up, and people are
Men in Black.
Yeah, and intimidated, and the being looks really creepy, these kinds of things. So all those elements are there. But what's also there, but what gets completely missed generally, is that this is in a Catholic country. And the people that first see the being, they're like, what is it, a demon? It's not a human. So they identify it. And they also, there's a lore to demons as well. And part of that lore is that they have cloven feet and they have a really terrible smell like sulfur. And both of these are mentioned many, many times. They come up repeatedly in the video. And I'm thinking, if I ever see him again, you know, I'll say, hey, you brought up a lot of the religious stuff, but of course he didn't see it because he's coming from a secular framework. But a person trained in religious studies is going to see that, or a Catholic is going to see that. Somebody who's very Christian, they're not going to miss that.
Yeah, this kind of blew my mind when you told me this last night. You mentioned the clovis feet and the smell of sulfur. Mm-hmm. And this is, so you're saying that this is talked about a lot in some of these Catholic texts?
Yes. So I'm not saying that that's what it is, because I don't do that. But I'm pointing out that when people had these experiences in 1500, 1600, these are the same kinds of things that they would say. They would say it smelled like sulfur. They would talk about the feet and things like that. Now, there are a variety of different experiences that have patterns, historical patterns, but this is just one example.
And then what also is interesting is when even in the Bible, man, and even in Egypt and in the Aztecs, like everywhere, all over the freaking world, all of these creatures that come down and engage with humans are always some kind of like hybrid creature.
Right.
It's a bit of this kind of animal, a bit of this kind of human, a bit of this, a bit of that. You know what I mean? And so when these guys said that it had weird feet, and then when you put that together with like the Catholic accounts over the millennia of them having hooved feet, you know what I mean? And then in the Bible and other places it talks about that they're hybrid. It's like, dude, what if up there, what we are here independently, like I'm a human, that is a cow, that is a bird, that is however it looks here, it's almost as if up there all of this is like, it's like intertwined somehow together. You know what I mean? Up in the higher dimensions, it's somehow intertwined. I don't know. And vice versa. Maybe stuff there is independent. And then when it appears here, it's intertwined somehow. Like in Ezekiel, I gave this example before. In Ezekiel, when it talks about the beasts that, or the creatures that came down with the throne room of God over their wings, right? They bring down this crystal surface, and through the crystal surface, Ezekiel could see God on his throne. But these beings come down, and then at their feet is the wheel within wheels, and the spirit of the being is in the wheels. But the creature has the face of a man, the face of an eagle, the face of an ox, the face of a lion, wings on all, 6 wings, eyes all over. Okay, that's what it looks like here. But then in the throne room of God in Revelation, it talks about around God's throne are 4 separate creatures, one with the face of a man, one with the face of an eagle, one with the face of an ox, one with the face of a lion. So they're separate. Here they're one, intermingled. You see what I'm saying? So maybe going through this like dimension, there's some kind of separation or some kind of intermingling that happens.
Or maybe it's a lens that you see through that brings them together, right? Because maybe you're seeing, maybe from one dimension to another, you're kind of seeing through it, or to the other side. But because you're not in it, you could only see it differently. You see it skewed. So they saw it like, does that make sense?
Yeah, it could appear different. Bro,
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not saying I believe this. Don't kick me out of church. What if that's why we can't explain the Trinity very well?
Totally. That's a great point. But hang on. So like, when you're looking at like in the water, right? And there's like a fish and they're swimming around, and you can see the fish, but because the water's rippling and, there's light and, maybe the sun's out and you can't see it very clearly. But then when you get in the water, and if you can like look at the fish, you can actually see what the fish looks like, right? So you can't describe it. So that's what I mean by like, maybe because of the barrier, like
sure.
But once you get in there, you see it more clearly. You see it the way for what it is. And
Dude,
that's
totally.
Yeah, that's a good point with the Trinity too.
That's like what's his name? Shoot, I can't remember which disciple or author says that now we see impartially, like through like a foggy mirror.
Yeah.
But then we will see clearly as he is.
So here's something else that just popped in my mind. Remember when Jesus healed that man, the blind man, with his like saliva? I think it was with the saliva. And then he rubs it and he goes, "Do you see?" And he goes, "Well, I see men, but they're like trees."
Mm-hmm.
And then he did it again. He's like, "Well, you can see clearly now." I when I was reading, I was like, "Well, maybe he like saw through a dimension, like he was looking at a different dimension the first time." Because Jesus is not like, "Oh, hang on a second, I didn't do it right."
Right.
I think he almost like gave us like a little, like gave him a little glimpse into like, and it was interesting that he said trees, right? Again, this is just me, like in my weird thinking.
I love it.
But I have to say this, Ben. This is what. Okay, now it's also because of what I was blessed with to see, in my encounters. So for me, it changed my whole perspective and aspect of like God and how beautiful and big and different. And when I hear the word wondrous now, like I understand like more like, whoa, yeah, he's and marvelous, right? And thinking about like peering into him and trying to see him, dude, Ben. Like even crystal, right? When you say crystals, a crystal throne and a crystal platform or crystal whatever, like that's the best way for me to describe that place that I was in and we'll get to it, but when I explained it to you with the contraction and the expanding, that place I was in, crystal is actually the word that I was looking for because it was different colors, right? And it's reflecting different colors, but it was light. It was like transparent kind of, right? So that's what I saw. So,
that's wild.
Yeah. And so like, because I see it, and Ben, I have it like in my head. Like I don't know. I wish I knew how to draw. I wish I could do like AI or something. Like it could like
for real.
Create it, but I wouldn't, because I can't really explain it. There's no way I can show you, be like, okay, that's exactly what it was. I can't.
Dude, and that's funny.
Pieces of it.
That's exactly what the disciples, that's exactly what the authors of the Bible would have tried doing when they would have visions, is be like, it looked like crystal. It looked like a horse. It looked like, you know what I mean? Yeah. All they can say is the words that they have. They can't give you modern words. They can't back then say, oh, it's like a computer and it's teleporting. Sure. They don't have those words. Right. So all they can do is use these old freaking antiquated words from 2,000, 4,000 years ago to describe the craziest thing they're freaking saying. You know what I mean? Right. And that's one thing recently that I've been, that's actually really helped me understand the Bible more. They're just doing the best with the words they got, and it's Holy Spirit inspired, and it's truthful, and it doesn't have the errors and all that, but it's the words that they had. You know what I mean? So even like today, we're like, oh, alien, UFO. That's because we've got those words. They didn't have those words 2,000 years ago. Sure. So if they see lights in the sky, if they see beings appearing, they're like, demon. Angel,
demon. Yeah, that's what they say.
You know what I mean? Like that's what they would say. Yeah. So it's like, call it whatever the heck you want. Okay. Right. We're talking about the same thing, bro.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not like there's a galaxy with animal human hybrid big-eyed creatures with cloven hooves that smell like sulfur that use technology to come over here and be like, let's go to Vegas. You know what I mean?
They weren't even like by the lights. They were like on the outskirts of Vegas.
Yeah. They're like, oh shit!
Right. That's what I mean. They're just like, bro, you're supposed to go right. No, you told me to go left. Like, what? It's not like that's what I was like thinking about. Like, why are they crashing though? Like,
they're like, we're supposed to go to Caesar's palace, not Caesar's house. You know what I mean? They freaking crashed in Caesar's house.
Oh, that's so bro. Good.
Oh my God. So they were like on mission to go to freaking Caesar's palace, but they ended up crashing in Caesar's house.
They were like two rebels of like
they went to Caesar's Plaza.
They were two demonic rebels, so they're like, yeah, we don't know about this, so we're gonna go to the king out over there.
They freaking got lost.
Yeah, I mean
their interdimensional GPS is off.
The only thing I can that I thought of too, like, is because it's Vegas, right? So like Area 51 is nearby, so I'm thinking maybe they were like, they were like doing something there, you know, and they were like, you know,
dude, that's good,
right? You know, and then they're like, they had like a mishap or something, right? And then they're like, oh shit, you know, like let's go, and that's where they went back to, you know, I don't know, like I know they weren't trying to escape. They're not like aliens, like, oh, we got caught, we're gonna try to escape. But if someone's being paralyzed by them looking at them, like, dude, they have way more power than we do, right?
Oh, for sure.
No gun's gonna stop them, right?
Well, then that's the question. Like, why do they need what we interpret as technology?
Right.
To fly around, to use crafts, to go dimension to dimension through. But what if it's not the way we have technology, where it's like, this is my phone.
Oh, for
I
sure,
use this for certain things.
They
this
use
is
sound,
my car.
light.
I drive it to get places.
No.
Like, what if technology to them is like something that's integral to their being? What if they are technology? Like, what if they are not that they're a computer, not that they're but what if they have parts of their existence that they can like
they have energy that they can do
intermingle with and use to propel? And what if they you know what I mean? What if they use that to go in between dimensions, between the spiritual realm and this physical 3-dimensional realm? Well, we don't know these things, but I like your idea that maybe it's like dude, because I'm of the belief that the government does have stuff.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? And does possibly have beings or is in contact with beings. You know what I mean?
Guaranteed in contact. Dude, did you see the Antarctica video with like the true pictures of Antarctica?
Yeah.
That's gnarly, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense to me, though.
That's a good one too.
That pulls in what Alex Jones was always saying, like what's happening up there, right? Like I was like, oh yeah, that's right. That's true for sure. I believe it. Okay, but hang on. Before we get past this video, do you remember? So back to the Vegas video and the beings, the creatures, right? Tall, slender, big eyes, big mouth,
weird feet.
I don't remember that part, but I believe you. I'm just saying that has nothing to do with my part. But
sure.
Now, do you remember? I think I told you this. I don't know if I told you on the podcast, but I was in Arizona in April with my daughter for spring break, and the very first night, I have a dream. I'm sleeping at my parents' house, and I have a dream that night. Now, I don't really normally have like crazy dreams. Like I have cool dreams, short dreams, like nothing crazy. Never had like a prophetic dream, never had like future dream, like nothing like that. And I had a dream that night. Did I tell you about the dream? Like I was in a church? No?
Oh, wait, keep going.
Let me read it.
Yeah.
I'll just read it, okay? So this is on 4/8. Oh my gosh, and exactly a month ago. Okay, 4/8, because I dated it. Wow, how cool is that? And 8's my number, Ben.
This is on 4?
8 is my number, Ben.
No, that's 2 months ago.
Oh, sorry, 2 months ago. April is what I said.
Yeah.
So April 8th, 2 months ago. Yeah, I'm sorry, not a month ago. All right, so, and 8's my number, Ben. I was in church. I'm just going to read what I wrote. One I've never been to before. Lots of Romanians. Church was full of people. We were all praying loudly in one accord. I was in a balcony near the ledge, so I could see the entire church, kind of like in the middle of this balcony. I could see the church on both sides, like back and forth. A man started speaking loudly, and he was on the first floor, on the ground level, and we all thought he was prophesying. Everyone became silent. You know how that happens in Romanian churches? So everyone starts to speak quiet and then to let the guy prophesy. He started to walk around and continued to speak loudly. Now check this out. His body changed and got uglier as he walked around, and taller and thinner.
Oh.
He was gray/white is what I wrote, looking but ugly, not beautiful at all. He would walk. So that's the description that I had from my dream.
Yeah.
That's the only description I have. He would walk up to people and he spoke things that I knew were wrong, but I can't tell you what he was speaking, but I knew that they were wrong. What he was speaking was wrong. He touched people and people became sick or weak or confused. That's the feelings that I got.
Wow.
He went to a mother who was holding a young baby, and the baby was naked, and the baby died and slipped out of the mother's hands onto the floor, like just slipped and plopped onto the floor. Everyone kept allowing this to happen and just watched, but did nothing for some reason. I saw this and I couldn't keep silent. I started to shout. I yelled and told this man to leave for the people would wake and for the people to wake up and not allow this to continue and to push him out of the church. A handful of people listened to me and they pushed the bad man, is what I call him, out of the church, and the church started to agree with me. The pastor was nowhere in the congregation and others went to go get him. Then I saw a very large, fat man who was the pastor walk through the congregation like do. And he walked like in the middle of the congregation and walked right out of the church, ignoring what was going on. And he was like huge. He was fat and gross, like really, really fat.
Yeah.
I knew the pastor got fat off the people in the church. That's like what came to mind.
Yeah.
He just walked out and away. I then left the balcony and went through a door that led me outside to an outdoor stairwell. I was approached by a couple familiar people and they thanked me for speaking and making the bad man stop and leave. Then I walked down the stairs and I left the church. It was nighttime and when all of this happened, and I was wearing a white shirt. That's all I know. But that's the whole dream. But just think about that, dude. He got ugly. He got thinner. He got taller and thin, and he was gray and white looking, and he was ugly. So, and I do remember like he had a big head. And I don't remember the eyes at all, but I do remember the mouth was big. But I remember like he got like slender and thinner and like taller, and he was walking around as he was walking around, and so when I was watching this video, I was like,
bro, that's nuts. Yeah,
like I think that's what I saw. I mean, maybe.
Wow,
isn't that crazy,
dude? I mean, demons, bro. Demons.
But and then in one of my visions when I was in my bedroom and the Holy Spirit says, look out the window. And then I look out the window and he says, do you see them? And I look and there's all the foliage and the trees and I see these demon heads just floating and looking at me, and they had big eyes and big mouths and they're like looking at me. And it was so crazy, but I wasn't scared. I was just like, whoa. Like I was like sitting there looking at them, and there were just so many of them too, just looking at me.
Dude, you know what? On that, what's interesting is those kids, or that kid in that video. Let's call him Caesar because we're already committed. So freaking Caesar's
it's a good chance his name is Caesar.
So Caesar is like, we went inside and we started praying.
Yeah, dude, I heard that. Yeah.
Okay. What else I've picked up looking into a lot of these things is that people who call on the name of Jesus, these things leave. Whether it's a craft or a being that appears, they leave.
Yeah.
People that don't call on the name of Jesus get affected negatively by whatever they're encountering. The people that get like abducted, no, my stupid camera.
Bro,
I need to get a new camera.
Okay. Can I make a comment here real quick? Yeah. This is why if you want to support the podcast, we need new equipment because this keeps happening.
Help us.
If anyone wants to help us, it would be greatly appreciated, and we would put it towards good use. Bro, I promise you that.
The demons are hard at work, bro.
They are hard at work.
Freaking Sony is possessed. The Sony A5100. That's the demon marker. But that's what I've heard from multiple accounts, is that if you start praying and if you call the name of Jesus, these things will take off. Right. Okay. What a coincidence. These guys go inside and start praying, and when the cops come and stuff, it's not there.
Yeah. The way I took that when they said that they went inside to pray, I'm like, yep. Because that's exactly the only response you have when you're freaking out, right?
Of course.
It's whether you know Jesus or not, like, it's always going back to God, right? Like, it's always like, God help me, because we know, we all know. There's no such thing as an atheist, man. Everybody knows. Everybody to the core, they're born with it, man. Knows there's a God-shaped hole in all of us, man, and we know there's something there. We don't, Christians know how to put language to it.
You could be as like staunch atheist as you want. When it hits the fan, at one point you're going to be like, oh, God, help me. If you're really there, help me, But, hey, sometimes that might work out, if it's God's will for you. If not,
oh, I'm not saying
you're on your own. You're on your own, bro.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I mean, yeah, that's between them and God.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy on the cross, said, hey, in his last, moments of his life too, he was, and the other guy didn't. So it's, again, it comes down to a choice, Ben, right? Like I've been seeing that a lot more in my life, like, especially like in the last month, maybe like 5-6 weeks, the word choice has been like a big part of my life. Like you have a choice, life or death. Like you have a choice in every day, from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed. Like you have a choice, and we're confronted with thousands of these choices, and millions in our lifetime of choosing life or death, choosing good, bad, choosing, God, choosing not. Like, do we, and if you keep choosing the wrong thing, that's why your life spirals out of control. That's why, and I made those choices for 6 years. I made those choices. I didn't go right to the bottom. I made choice by choice by choice that led me to this very, very dark place. Right. To a place where I didn't feel loved. I didn't think anyone loved me, and I didn't think Jesus loved me. I knew that there was God. I knew. I didn't. Never once in my life did I, no matter how bad as things got, did I say, "Oh, there's no God. He doesn't exist." Never once did that cross my mind. I knew He did. I just believed that He didn't love me, and I wasn't His. So I'm like, well, then what's the point? And I think that's where people get. I don't think that anyone doesn't really believe. I think that they lie to themselves. They,
for sure,
and
suppress.
Suppress.
That's what the Bible says. They suppress the truth.
God, the Bible's so perfect, man.
And they worship the created rather than the creator.
Dude, Ben, the Bible is so perfect, man.
It's so good.
Like, it's so crazy.
It's so
the more you read it, the more perfect it gets.
I love it.
The more you read it, the bigger it gets. The more like you don't understand them, because you're like, whoa. I mean, you start to understand certain things, but then there's like so much more new things to understand.
Yeah.